Back. A former Vermont lawmaker and current executive director of Rights and Democracy is one of the women featured in a new documentary. It's called Backlash: Misogyny in the Digital Age. Let's take a listen.
And it's important to remember right now that history does have its eyes on you. So get to work.
And I'm joined now by Kaya Morris. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kat.
So let's talk about the film. For you, was this a difficult film to be part of?
It really is. It's always a challenge to tell your story, especially if it's not one that has this beautiful, happy ending to it, and especially when it's so deeply personal. So it can be really difficult to not only express what you want to say, but what you're hoping the audience will take from it, so that all of that work is meaningful and it actually brings about the change that you're hoping.
And why was this film so important for you to be part of? Why did you want to bear a very personal story again in public?
Well, this is a story that's felt by many women across the globe, especially in the digital age that we have right now. The acts of online terrorism and harassment against women are just continuously climbing. And it's become such an effective tool for terrorizing individuals across the globe. So being able to show different folks from different walks of life that are each encountering the ways that that becomes dangerous was a really powerful opportunity.
And so describe what it was like to live with this kind of virtual violence, if you will.
It's very insidious because you don't always know who's behind it, but you also don't know who's going to see those very threats, the ways that they choose to speak about you, the ways they wish ill against you, that somebody will pick up that charge and say, yeah, let me go take care of that. That person does need to be dealt with in the physical plane. It makes it very terrifying because you don't know where that online world is going to come find you in the physical.
Let's talk about the film itself. What was it like to be part of that film? How did you go about sharing your story? Did they just do an interview or did they follow you around at your current job? Talk about that process.
It was a very long and researched process. I mean, in order to talk about so few women and to tell their story in fullness, they had to do a bit of research first. So it was a lot of trying to recount so many layers because this is a really complex story. My single story is incredibly complex. So how do you give it justice? How do you truly showcase all of the elements that made for this maelstrom of just trouble on a whole small community and then ultimately the state? So it was a powerful experience for us women to say no more and that the violence must end.
Let's talk about the action items. Are there things Vermonters can do to help stop this online harassment?
When you see it, catalog it, record it, try to tell that narrative. It's important that it lives somewhere because you may choose to report to law enforcement and they may or may not have the mechanisms for really accounting for what is legally considered threats. You need to talk to your lawmakers because they are currently wrestling with the ways to better deal with this very issue. And it's going to require them knowing that they have your support in understanding the difference between First Amendment rights and the violation of human rights in terrorism within our communities. And finally, have conversations with your youth. Have conversations with folks that live in online spaces as a major part of their lives and find out what is happening. What are the pieces that don't feel right and where do they feel risks so that we can all learn from each other.
Kaya Morris, thank you for your time on this issue.
Thank you.